Let us pray. Almighty God, in your wisdom and goodness, have appointed the offices of leaders and legislative assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Good morning, honorable members. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Proceed.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Proceed.
Order number 3, messages.
Proceed.
Order number 4, petitions.
Proceed.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one business to be transacted by Honorable Ali. Honorable Ali. Or Honorable Jacinta Luka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Jacinta Luka, nominated by WIPA. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 10th August 2021. The report of the Committee on Justice on Broadcasting and Library Services on the Assembly Broadcasting Policy. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Jacinta. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable members, under this order number, we also have one business to be transacted by Honorable Jacinta Luka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Once again, I'm Honorable Jacinta. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides that the national values and principles of governance bind all state organs, officers, and persons when interpreting the Constitution and when making or implementing public policy decisions. The value includes rules of law, participation of the people, and transparency. Honorable Speaker, acknowledging that Article 35 of the same Constitution recognizes that every citizen has the right of access to information which is held by the state or other person which is further affected by the Access to Information Act number 31 of 2016. Aware that Standing Order number 215-3A of the Machakos County Assembly Standing Order mandates the Committee on Broadcasting and Library Services to consider and report on all matters relating to broadcasting of assembly proceedings. Those includes reporting on rules, policies and procedures, and any other matters relating to broadcasting in plenary, committees and events. Honorable Speaker, cognizant of the fact that the said committee considered the Assembly broadcasting policy, which provides guidelines on how the Assembly proceedings shall be regulated both internally and externally. This is in accordance with the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, Count Government Act 2012, Access to Information Act 2016, and the Fair Administration Action Act, the Count Assembly Standing Order, Speaker's Rules, and other written rules. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the Broadcasting and Library Services Committee report on the Assembly broadcasting policy.
Thank you, Honorable Jacinta Luka. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 7, statements.
Proceed.
Order number 8, motion approval of report on Committee on Trade, Economic Planning and Industrialization on annual progress report for financial year 2019-2020.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one business to be transacted by the chairperson, the Committee on Trade, Economic Planning and Industrialization, Honorable Cosmas Keti. Honorable Keti.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Cosmas Keti. I represent Lower Kaiwa and Kan Ward, and also the Chair, Committee on Trade, Economic Planning, and Industrialization. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 183, Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, provides that the County Executive Committee shall provide the County Assembly with the full and regular report on all matters relating to the county. Further, aware that Article 185, Article 3 of the Constitution provides that the County Assembly, while respecting the principle of the separation of powers, may exercise oversight over the County Executive Committee and any other County Executive organs. Further, aware that Section 47 of the County Government Act 2012 provides that 1. The County Executive Committee shall design a performance management plan to evaluate performance of the county public service and the implementation of county policies. 2. The plan shall provide for, among others, A. Objective, measurable, and time-bound performance indicators. B. Linkage to mandates. C. Annual performance reports. D. Citizen participation in the evaluation of the performance of county government. And the E. Public sharing of performance progress reports. Honorable Speaker, noting that the county annual progress report was compiled by the Department of Economic Planning after external resources mobilization with input from departmental monitoring and evaluation champions in collaboration with the sub-county, ward, and the village administrators who provided key data on status of projects. Honorable Speaker, acknowledging that the 2019-2020 APR was subjected to sectoral committees interrogation, which involved presentations by the respective chief officers and the reports presented to the Committee on Trade, Economic Planning and Industrialization. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of Committee on Trade, Economic Planning and Industrialization on the annual progress report 2019-2020 financial year. Honorable Speaker, I wish to call Honorable Molu to second the motion.
Honorable Molu. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to second. Thank you, Honorable Molu. Honorable Katie, may read the report, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's a report on Committee on Trade, Economic Planning, and Industrialization. Report on the annual progress report 2019-2020 financial year. Honorable Speaker, with your permission, I beg to skip some of the areas like preamble, maybe mandate of the committee. I seek your guidance. Can we start from committee composition?
Right.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the committee has 13 members as follows. We have Honorable Cosmas Kate, the chairperson, Honorable Anton Molu, the vice chairperson, Honorable Anastasia Mutuku, member, and then the following are members: Honorable Judas Dawa, Honorable Betty Zioki, Honorable Christine Koki, Honorable Brian Kisila, Honorable Josephat Kasioki, Honorable Joseph Wabua, Honorable Mark Mwendo, Honorable Mohamed Ali, Honorable Peter Mutiso, and Honorable Moses Mita. 30 sectoral committees interrogations. Honorable Speaker, the 2019-2020 CAPR was subjected to sectoral committees interrogation, which involved presentations by the respective chief officers. The emerging reports were presented to the Committee on Trade, Economic Planning, and Industrialization. The reports covered the following: 1. Analysis of the departmental performance and scrutiny as to whether the said achievements were actually realized. 2. Drawing of observations and recommendations regarding departmental performance. 3.1. Department of Agriculture. 1. The quarter acre program. 7,500 targets for farm ponds was set, but only 707 farm ponds were constructed, translating to an achievement of 10.6%. 2 backhoes were targeted for purchase, with the department reporting nil purchases, citing insufficiency of funds. Under the same program, the department targeted to purchase 1,600 pond liners, reporting an actual performance of 78 pond liners, translating to an achievement of 4.8%. 2,000 farmers were said to benefit from horticultural seed crops. The seeds had been purchased for the target group, but not distributed at the time of reporting. For agrochemicals, 2,000 beneficiaries were targeted, and the purchases but not distributed at the time of reporting. Number 2, motorcycles for extension services. The department set a target of 20 extension motorcycles and managed to get 13, which was an achievement of 65%. Free tractor program, the department had a target to plow, 9,000 acres and managed 407, achieving a performance of 5.5. You can see the annex of the APR for beneficiaries and allocation. 4, the free seats. The department targeted to distribute 160 tons of free seeds and managed only 60 tons of beans and green grams, which is at 8%, since the budget allocated was insufficient. For beneficiaries, see Annex 2 of the APR. Number 5, free seedlings. The department targeted to distribute 80,000 free fruit seedlings and managed to distribute 20,000 seedlings, which is 25% of target. Number 6, subsidized fertilizer. The department targeted to issue 150,000 bags to farmers, but only 10,473 bags were distributed, which is 7% target. Number 7, Kenya Cereals Enhancement Program and Climate Resilience. This program was set to benefit 16 wards in Yatta, Mala, and Masinga sub-counties. It targeted 3,002 farmers, but it benefited 7,753 farmers at a cost of 140 million, a performance of 225%, surpassing the set target. By its Free Chicks program, the department targeted to issue 100,000 chicks, but issued 29,902 chicks, translating to a 30% performance. For beneficiaries, you can look at the Annex 3 of the APR. Number 9, free livestock vaccination. The department targeted to vaccinate 140,000 livestock, but managed only 110,445, which is an achievement of 79%. For beneficiaries, see the Annex 4 of the APR. Number 10, artificial insemination. 20,000 cattle were to be inseminated, but the department did not attain this. The chief officer indicated that the procurement process was ongoing at the time of reporting. Number 11, pasture distribution. The department targeted to issue 6 tons of pasture but managed 1.3 tons, translating to 22 performance rate. For beneficiaries, refer to Annex 5 of the APR. Number 12, DIPS construction. This program was meant to benefit Mala, Athrifa, Kibaoni, Cheleni, Kangundo East, Matu, Kathian Central, Kifa, Kithioko, and Kalama wards. The chief officer reported that it had not been undertaken as it was not in the CIDP. Number 13, aquaculture. The department maintained 1 hatchery at the MACHAKOS Agricultural Training Center and set a target of 200,000 fingerlings for distribution to farmers, out of which 93,160 translated to a performance of 47%. Number 14, Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project. The department projected to enhance resilience to climate change risks through 12 projects within Kalama, Ikombe, Matungulu North, and Kangundo Central. A 15% performance achievement was reported having completed Kitamba Dam and with the Kilatu Water Pan at 50% completion rate. 2 other projects were awaiting World Bank clearance at the time of reporting. 15, small order irrigation and value addition projects. The program set to develop 15 water harvesting structures within Kiva Kithioko Ward. Hydrogeological survey and environmental impact assessment had been done for 6 boreholes and livestock market construction locations identified. This translated to a 10% achievement rate. 16, cooperative marketing and value chain. 1,000 tons of coffee was milled within a target of 1,200 tons, which was an achievement of 83%. Number 17, growth and development of cooperatives. The target was to register 25 new cooperatives and 24 were registered, which is 96% achievement. Number 18, cooperative audits and inspection. The department set a target to conduct 50 audits, but managed to achieve 79, surpassing the set target. Number 19, cooperative governance. The department targeted to increase compliance to cooperative legislation in 98 cooperatives and held 83 annual general meetings, translated to an achievement of 84%. Number 20, cooperative capacity development. The department set to train 150 cooperative members, but trained 2,995 members, which is over 100% of the set target. Number 21, cooperative societies ICT infrastructure. The department targeted to develop 1 cooperative database, which was achieved, and 2 data collection exercises carried out. 311, observation. Honorable Speaker, the committee observed the following. 1, Preparation of the annual progress report and implementation of the targeted projects was in line with Section 125 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012. The report did not include an annexer showing the beneficiaries of the quarter-acre project. 3, insufficient budget allocation was cited as the reason the department did not meet many of the targets. It appears that the department set high targets because 70% of the projects did not meet the set target. 5, under cooperative marketing and value chain, the target was plant equipment, procurement, and installation, but reported on coffee production indicating a discrepancy in reporting. Number 6, some projects like the small order irrigation and value chain have never picked up. The project is still at service stage. 7, the project on deep construction is a critical project that was omitted from the CIDP, hence not implemented. Number 8, the overall performance for the department was only 42%. 312 recommendations. 1, the department should set targets proportional to the budget allocation for the year to avoid setting targets that cannot be met. 2, the department should strategically align the procurement process with the timelines of implementation so that projects can be initiated and completed by the end of the financial year. And 3, there should be strict monitoring of the projects funded by the World Bank, alongside observance of implementation timelines to avoid donors withdrawing their support. The Department for Agriculture should ensure that a report on all donor-funded projects is submitted to honorable members for information and awareness. Number 4, all the projects that relate to the quarter-acre initiative, Smart Climate and Kenya Climate Change Resilience programs should first address the water harvesting program, which will propel other agriculture and food security programs. Number 5, the Economic Planning Department should review the CIDP 2018-2022 in the meantime to ensure that left-out programs such as cattle deep construction is included. 3.2, roads, transport, housing and public works. Number 1, road network development and maintenance. Honorable Speaker, 20 kilometers of road were earmarked for tarmacking the 2019-2020 financial year. The targeted projects were projected to benefit Mudwani, Masi, Mudetheni, and the Mua wards. The department only managed to tarmac 7.8 kilometers at a cost of 71.2 million, which is 23% of performance. The department also targeted to mark 4.3 kilometers of road countrywide, but only managed 3.2 kilometers at a cost of 0.9 million, which was an achievement of 75%. Honorable Speaker, the department also undertook grading of roads across the county and managed to grade 1,604 kilometers at a cost of 23 million. 90 kilometers of road were targeted for graveling in the 2019-2020 financial year. The department managed 211 kilometers at a cost of 191.2 million, translating to 906,000 for every kilometer gravelled. Honorable Speaker, on construction of drips, the department had a target of constructing 1,000 meters of drips and managed 786 meters at a cost of 69.4 million, which was an achievement of 76.8%. On construction of culverts, the department had a target of 1,984 meters of culverts. The department installed 1,086 meters at a cost of 26.8 million, an achievement of 54%. On installation of gabions, the target was 893 installations, with the department managing to install 840 gabions at a cost of 12.6 million and achieved 94% of the target. 2, fleet expansion and maintenance. Honorable Speaker, the targets under this program were to maintain machinery, plant and the vehicles construct one workshop and fit count vehicles with the tracking systems. In maintenance, oils, lubricants, and repair parts were purchased at a cost of 30 million. No funds were allocated for construction of the workshop and the purchase of vehicle tracking systems. 3. Transport sector improvement. Honorable Speaker, the department had targeted to improve 3 bus parks in Matu, Mafoko, and Tala. This was not achieved as there were no funds allocated for the projects. Public Works. Number 4. The MACHAKOS conference facility superstructure was at 100% completion rate. The roofing at 100%. Internal and external finishes going on at the time of reporting. The report, however, did not show the amount spent. B, county office block in Machakos was at 90% completion rate with the west wing completely finished. C, construction of county office Matu was at 97% completion rate with the superstructure and the roofing done at the time of reporting. Staff houses and VIP washrooms works were going on. D, commercial development, mixed use. Building in Machakos stored at 10% at the time of reporting with the contract termination process ongoing. E, office block, 12-story stored at 10% substructure level. Number 5, KRB roads. The overall completion of KRB roads is annexed on pages 89 to 96 of the APR was at 97% of the time of reporting. Members of County Assembly were not aware of the scope of the work to be done, thus making oversight a challenge. 3.21 observations. 1. For the 7.8 kilometers of road that were tarmacked at a cost of 71.2 million, there was no breakdown on how many kilometers were done in the 4 beneficial wards, being Mudwani, Masi, Mudetheni, and Mua. 2. On development of road network, the report said that 3.2 kilometers of road had been marked at a cost of 0.9 million, against a target of 4.3 kilometers, an achievement of 75%. There was no elaboration on the specific roads marked. 3. On grading of roads across the county, 1,694 kilometers were done at a cost of 23 million. No details were given on exact locations. The money spent on translating to almost 13,000 per kilometer was also too high. Number 4, insufficient budget allocation was cited as a cause of why the department did not meet set targets. Number 5, contractors abandoning site due to lack of payment was observed. Other contractors completed the projects but had not been paid at the time of reporting. Number 6, the committee noted that a number of graders had not been maintained for the last 1 year. Number 7, the department set high targets which were not achieved within the available resources. Then number 8, some projects like transport sector improvements such as bus parks are not taken off. Number 9, the COVID-19 global pandemic interrupted most of 2019-2020 third and fourth quarter programs. Number 10, some projects, especially in the public works, have taken more than 3 years to complete and others have stalled. 3.22 recommendations. The department should set targets proportional to the budget allocation for the year to avoid setting targets that cannot be met. This is because of the roads, transport, and public department is very key in economic growth. Number 2, the department should strategically align the procurement process with the timelines of implementation so that projects can be implemented at the end of the financial year and also enable them to pay the contractors on time and avoid projects spilling over to the next financial year. The department should first complete the ongoing projects before starting new projects in the subsequent financial years. Number 4, the members of the County Assembly should be made aware of the scope of work on the projects undertaken by the department to be able to undertake proper oversight. Number 5, a thorough report is sought to explain the status and funds are already utilized on the commercial development mixed use building in Machakos that was reported to have stored at 10% at the time of reporting. Number 6, report is sought regarding the 12-story office block which is stored at 10% substructure level. Number 7, the Committee on Transport and Roads seeks and interrogates a report indicating the amount spent on each of the KRB roads. 3.3, Committee on Environment, Lands, Energy and Natural Resources. 3.3.1, Department of Water and Irrigation, BOOs. Honorable Speaker, the committee undertook random site visits on 30th September 2020 in different places to establish the status of BOOs drilling, reticulation, and powering. The committee divided themselves in 3 clusters to collect information on BOOs projects that were mentioned in the 2019-2020 Annual Progress Report. The sampled BOOs are located in Kangundo Central Ward, Tala Ward, Kangundo East, Kangundo West, Matungulu East, Matungulu North, Mua Ward, Machakos Central, Kinanie, Kadhiani, Muchituni, Matu, Mudwani, and the Muvotike Makimo wards. Tala Ward. Number 1, Mukalwa Primary School BOO. Reticulation was done to 0.9 kilometers as indicated in the Annual Progress Report for 2019-2020. 2, Katine HGM Primary School BOO. Powering and reticulation was completed and the BOO is in use. Cheleni Adi Dam. Surveying was done. However, the works had not started at the time of reporting. Then we have Matungulu North Ward. Kwa Maura Community BOO, reticulation was done to 1.2 kilometers. However, the pipes were removed during the construction of the Tala Oldon Sabuk Road. Plans are underway to restore the pipes. Kangundo East Ward, Manyata Primary School BOO. Reticulation was done as reported in the Annual Progress Report for 2019-2020. However, there is need for more pipes to complete the remaining section. The BOO uses hydroelectric power for operating the pump, where the bills are paid by the county government, and there are 4 water distribution lines connected to the BOO, which serve the community with water. Kafilinguni Water Project. In this BOO, reticulation was done as mentioned in the report. The BOO uses hydroelectric power, and the BOO is in use. Then we have Kadhome Dispensary. Reticulation was done as reported in the Annual Progress Report for 2019-2020. However, at the time of reporting, the machine is faulty and required pump testing. Number 4, Kamanzi Secondary School, BOO. Reticulation was done as reported in the Annual Progress Report for 2019-2020. Kangundo Central Ward, 1, Kangundo Police BOO. Solar panels installed and the BOO is in use. Matungulu East Ward, Maimbeni BOO. As indicated in the Annual Progress Report, the BOO was installed with power and the distribution to 500 meters was undertaken. Kangundo West Ward, Kwandeto Primary School. Reticulation to 1 kilometer was done as reported in the Annual Progress Report. And then we have 2, Kedini BOO. Reticulation to 1 kilometer was done as reported in the Annual Progress Report, and the 4 stand pipes were installed. 3 is Sanamo Primary School BOO. Reticulation to 1 kilometer was done towards Kakuyuni Tarmac Road. Additionally, reticulation was done 1 kilometer to Daini. 4, Busiani Community BOO. More than 0.3 kilometer reticulation was done in different directions. 1 kilometer line to Kikondeni and 1 kilometer to Busiani Catholic Church and about 800 meters to Busiani Dispensary. Then we have Mua Ward. Chumbi Silang Borehole in Kinanie is drilled and the works completed. Kathiani Central Ward. Kathiani Hospital borehole drilling was done to completion, but was dry at the time of reporting. Muvutiki Makimwe Ward. Cheni Primary School borehole, Kakindu Ni borehole, and the Kalumoni borehole are reticulated halfway as stipulated in the progress report. Machakos Central Ward. Machakos Primary School borehole reticulation is done as stipulated in the progress report. Then we have Kenyatta Stadium borehole is drilled, powered, and reticulation is ongoing almost to completion. Mutituni Ward. Kivutini borehole is drilled, powered, and reticulation is ongoing almost to completion. 3.31 Meeting with the Chief Officer. Honorable Speaker, the committee engaged the chief officers for water, energy, lands, and urban development on the following concerns. 1. The titling program. The target for title issuance. Honorable Speaker, I wish to repeat. Number 1, the titling program. The target for the title issuance was 2,000 and managed to issue more, which is 100%. The chief officer informed the committee that 50,421 titles were in the registry, ready for issuance. 8,942 had already been issued. At the time of reporting, the exercise had halted due to COVID-19 pandemic. Number 2, awareness creation and promotion of alternative energy sources such as clean cook stuff, biogas technology, briquette making, and solar energy program. The Department of Energy set a target of 60% but managed 30%. The department cited lack of finances as the reason for slow implementation. Number 3, development of climate change policy program. The department targeted one program which was already done, awaiting public participation, therefore scoring 75%. The committee tabled a report on the same. 4, issued restoration orders on pollution by companies, estates, and churches. The department issued 84 orders against the targeted 124, which is satisfactory. The committee did a report on pollution and quarrying. Number 5, the digital topographical mapping and the preparation of the regional and integrated strategic urban development plans for the Machakos County and its 16 selected urban centers 2012-2030. On this program, the department is at 99%, and this was sufficient since a report on the same was tabled in the House. Number 6, integrated strategic urban development plan for Machakos 2012-2030. On this program, the department is at 99%. 3.32 observations. 1, the committee was informed that several boreholes were not in use because of faulty motors. For instance, some boreholes such as Kilalani Primary School borehole in Kangundo Central Ward were not functioning due to faulty motor. 2, we have Chaga borehole, which was sunk by CDF and handed over to the county government, requires pump testing and power installation. 3, some boreholes such as Kathiani Hospital borehole were drilled but dry. 4, in most places, reticulation seemed to be going very slow, thus beating the logic of drilling the boreholes. Number 5, insufficient budget allocation was cited as a cause as to why the department did not meet targets. 3.33 recommendations. Before drilling any borehole, there should be proper hydrological survey to avoid wastage of public money. 2, the department should set targets proportional to the budget allocation for the year to avoid setting targets that cannot be met. 3, the department should strategically align the procurement process with the timelines of of implementation so that projects can be implemented at the end of the financial year. And then number 4, there should be strict monitoring of the projects funded by World Bank alongside observance of implementation timelines to avoid donors from withdrawing their support. (3.4) Department of Education. Honorable Speaker, according to information provided by Education Department, 97 ECD classes were constructed in the period under review at a cost of 60 million. Members could not conclude on the matter since it was not clear whether the funds used in construction of the 97 classes was separate from the 10 million set aside for projects in each ward. Based on the aforementioned, members therefore resolved to invite the Chief Officer to appear before the committee to shed light on the issues relating to the constructed ECD classes. 3.41 Response by the Chief Officer. Honorable Speaker, during sectoral interrogations of the APR, the Committee on Education was informed that implementation of projects as provided in the annual progress report for the financial year 2019-2020 was guided by the allocated budget. In addition, the Chief Officer informed members that there have been issues by the Auditor General demanding explanations to why some wards had more ECD classes than others. Honorable Speaker, the Chief Officer acknowledged that some wards have more ECD classes than others. He justified his answer by stating that the request made by members of the County Assembly in relation to the utilization of the 10 million for ward projects differed, thus resulting to such variations in terms of the numbers. 3.42 Committee recommendations. In future, there is need to have fair distribution of resources like the ECD classes in all the wards. 3.5 Department of Health and Emergency Services. 3.51 Medical Services. The department intended to put up an isolation ward or wards, critical care units for COVID-19 patients at MACHAKOS Central, which is at the time of reporting was done at 98% at a cost of 9.8 million, and the one at Kangudo Central done to 75% at a cost of 7 million. Number 2, COVID-19 mass testing and isolation centers at MACHAKOS Central done at a cost of 6 million with the dome tents and a 300-bed capacity erected. Number 3, doctors' call rooms in Machakos Town 3 were done to completion and the construction going on. 1, translating to a completion rate of 90%. Number 4, construction of operating theater at Mwalam done to 100% with the equipping done, awaiting commissioning at the time of reporting. 3.52 Public Work, Public Health and the Community Service. Number 1, upgrading of level 3B health facilities in Mlolongo, Syokimau, and the Kidimani both at 95% completion rate. Dalani at 100% completion rate, Matu at 90%, Kalama at 80%, Mudwani at 100%, Tala at 95%, Matungulu at 40%, Kibauni at 80% at the time of reporting. Number 2, completion of new dispensaries. Kangudo East and Ikombe were indicated as ongoing. Kadiani completed at a cost of 2.5 million. Matu completed at a cost of 2 million. Lower Kaiwa completed at a cost of 2.4 million. Tala completed at a cost of 2.2 million. Kibauni at a cost of 3.6 million. Wamunyu at a cost of 3 million. Matungulu West at a cost of 2.9 million. And the Kangudo West at a cost of 4.7 million. 3.53 Committee interrogation. Honorable Speaker, The Committee on Health and Emergency Services interrogated the department on the expenditure done in Katani at a cost of 14 million Kenyan shillings, and was informed that the facility name is Ginanye Level 3 in Katani Ward, and the breakdown of the works done are as follows. 1. Part demolition of existing buildings, electrical works, walling, and the windows of at a cost of 6,840,920. 2. Walkways and water installation at a cost of Kenya shillings 6,737,000. 2. The doctor's call room at MACHAKOS Level 5 was done through funds from COVID-19 grants. Number 3. The operating theater and the kitchen at Mala Level 4 Health Center was funded by the county government, normal budget at a cost of Kenya shillings 10 million. Number 4, the committee conducted a site visit to Kenyatta Stadium isolation and noted the following. 1, there were 2 doom tents, and during the peak of the COVID-19, only 1 tent had been in use. 115 patients were admitted in the isolation facility. Number 2, initially, the isolation facility had 340 beds, but as at the time of the site visit, 140 beds had been moved to other facilities, such as Gadian Level 4, Kimutua Health Center, MACHAKOS Level 5, and Kagundo Level 4. 3.6, Department of ICT. The department has enhanced communication across the MACHAKOS County offices through creation of 813 active emails out of a target of 1,000, and therefore achieving 81%. Number 2, installation of 1 fully operational call center at the county headquarters in Machakos town, enhancing 24-hour customer service in line with His Excellency the Governor's Directive. 3, implementation of a wide area network infrastructure which entails provision of internet to all Machakos County departmental offices and sub-counties through the NOFIB, National Optic Fiber Backbone Infrastructure. Number 3, CCTV surveillance within the county in Chumvi, Machakos Town Road, Machakos Town, and at River Town. At the time of reporting, upgrade of projects in Mlolongo, Wamunyu, and Mala were ongoing. 3.61, committee interrogation. The CCTV vandalism. The chief officer informed the committee that vandalism of the CCTV was a great impediment to the effectiveness of the program. He cited several scenarios where the installed CCTVs had been vandalized. He further proposed having vandal-proof security cameras that fitted with metal housings to prevent the lens from becoming damaged when there is physical abuse. Number 2, road infrastructure. Recent roads infrastructure upgrading it negatively affected the CCTV program in that communication masts that were elected on the roads reserves had to be removed, and also the underground communication cables were cut during the excavation process. Number 3, battery power backup. In blackout conditions, the CCTVs were not being operational as a battery power backup was not available. Having a battery backup for the surveillance system can help keep monitoring system running during the short-term power outages and provide much needed security at that specific time. 4, lack of personnel. The department did not have adequate personnel to effectively conduct routine maintenance of the CCTVs. Regular CCTV maintenance reduces the risk of system malfunction or failure to deter theft. We have 3.62, recommendation. That, number one, that the chief officer, ICT, should come up with a CCTV policy that will foster the efficient and effective management of the CCTV, and the draft policy should then be forwarded to the County Assembly for consideration and approval. Number two, the Department of ICT should endeavor to ensure that all urban and peri-urban towns in the county are fitted with these surveillance cameras so as to foster security. Further, the department should ensure that all CCTV are operational and have power backup. 3, the department should revamp the CCTV program with current technology in a bid to foster achievement of the set objectives. Number 4, the department should set targets proportional to the budget allocation for the year to avoid setting targets that cannot be met. Number 5, the department should strategically align the procurement process with the timelines of implementation so that projects can be implemented at the end of the financial year and also enable them to pay the contractors on time and avoid projects spilling over to the next financial year. Number 6, the department should complete the ongoing projects before targeting new projects. Then number 7, the members of the County Assembly should be made aware of the scope of work on the projects undertaken by the department to be able to undertake proper oversight. 3.7, Department of Trade, Industrialization and Innovation. 1, establishment of a jaw crusher plant in Katang Ward. The project was ongoing with the following accomplished: A, geological and hydrological survey completed. B, environmental impact assessment by NEMA completed. C, numerous public engagement forums conducted. D, site perimeter fencing is almost complete. And the E, electricity connection ongoing. 2, the department managed to distribute 500 outdoor parasols to support roadside traders. 3, the department oversaw the construction and completion of 5 market sheds in the following areas: A, Wamunyu Cloth Market in Wamunyu Ward. B, Ikalahasa Market Shed in Kibaoni. C, Kayole Market in Dithini Ward. D, Goleni Market in Gadian Central Ward. 4, fencing of livestock markets in Tala and Masi. 5, construction of perimeter wall in Adrifa Open Air Market. 6, construction and rehabilitation of 2 border sheds across the county. 7, trade-related events. Machakos SME Summit. The summit provided entrepreneurs a platform, experience sharing, knowledge exchange, and business linkages with commercial financiers and investment partners. Number 8, Machakos Business Community Meeting. The forum was meant to encourage increased collaboration between the county government and the private sector, as well as provide an avenue for constructive reforms in business environment in the county. Number 9, stakeholder engagement forums. Organized quarterly forums with the industry stakeholders and associations. We have 3.8, Department of Culture and Tourism. Number 1, the department intended to construct curio shops at Chamwilu Scenery, but they were not able to get land around. The matter is being pursued in the current financial year by the Department of Lands. 2, the department initiated signage of the existing tourist attraction, with the matter being at the contract award level. 3, most of the set projects in the department, like construction of curio shops, renovation of existing tourist attraction sites, were not actualized because there is no budget allocations. Number 4, the department renovated 3 existing monuments in Machakos and Mafoko sub-counties at a cost of 3.2 million. Kenya shillings. Number 5, 2 million Kenya shillings was used to inspect liquor selling premises, but the committee felt that the implementation of this was questionable since most of these premises were not in designated places. Most of them were near learning institutions, hospitals, and residential areas. Number 6, the department it indicated that 764,000 was used to sensitize the public on effects of liquor abuse, but the impact could not be justified, no evidence provided of such campaigns. 3.9, Department of Youth and Sports. The department conducted talent development forums and supported 3 youth groups, including Mkenya Mchizi, Link Crew, and Band 67. The youth groups were trained and given work during Machakos Youth Conference. 2, the department conducted community and youth empowerment mentorship for during program. 2 out of 40 wards benefited in sensitization forums. The wards include Kola and Matu. 3, the youth were benefited as follows. A, applications to youth fund for entrepreneurship funds. 2, training on youth group dynamics. 3, registration to free vocational training centers. D, networking with the different CBOs. 4, the department empowered youth in entrepreneurship in 2 out of 40 wards, that is Matu and Kola wards. Training on empowerment and business creation, employability, registration and of youth groups, application and award by Youth Fund. The department achieved 15% success through sponsorships by CBOs who supported them. Number 5, sorry. One youth empowerment conference was held 2019-2020 with a budget of 7 million Kenyan shillings, financing the following. A, Adum exhibitions tents, Adum exhibitions tents and a VIP tent. B, food and beverages for 5,000 participants. We have C, entertainment, DJ, 3 entertainment groups, MC, sound system. D, media adverts on social media and mainstream media, radio, newspaper, and TV. E, event branding. F, buying and branding parasols for activations in 214 villages. And G, we have staff facilitation, airtime, and lunch during preparation for the event. Number 6, the department distributed sports equipment and a uniform to 7 teams, namely Kambandi team in Masi Ward, Ovine football team in Nicola Ward, Golden Soccer Academy in Adriva Ward, Lazo Bags Academy in Adriva Ward, Mlolongo Stars in Mlolongo Syokimau Ward, Catalonia FC in Machakos Central Ward, and Machakos United FC, Machakos County Professional Team. The department undertook repairs and renovations at Kenyatta Stadium and the social hall at a cost of 3.2 million. The department conducted capacity building for sportsmen, women, and officials. Members sought to know whether the department had included PWDs in this activity. 3.91, Committee of Observations. The committee noted that the department has good programs as highlighted in the annual development plan, but poor implementations of such programs. 2, most of the funding as observed in the programs was from donors. 3, the department has not been able to carry out certain programs in all the wards since the partners give funding with certain conditions and the department has to adhere so as not to lose the opportunities. Number 4, the youth docket has been neglected by the county government, noting that empowering them is key to ensuring economic stability of the county in future. 3.92 recommendations. 1, the department should finalize on the youth policy and the sports policy that were reported to be at drafting stage and forward to the county assembly for interrogation and approval. 2, the department should set targets proportional to the budget allocation for the year to avoid setting targets that cannot be met, such as the youth innovation centers and the community and the youth empowerment framework program that were targeted and never took off. Number 3, the youth empowerment bill should be expedited and forwarded to the county assembly for consideration and enactment. Number 4, the department should strategically align the budgeting and the planning process with the set targets and the timelines to avoid non-approval projects such as the MACHAKOS Governance Cup Championship that was proposed, but the budget for it was not approved. 4.0 acknowledgement. Honorable Speaker, I wish to thank all the honorable members of the committee for their commitment in executing the committee's mandate. Further, the committee extends its appreciation to the Speaker and the Office of the Clerk for facilitating its activities. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to stop there, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Cosmas Ketty. I now propose the question that this House discusses and approves the report of Committee on Trade, Economic Planning and Industrialization on the annual progress report for the financial year 2019-2020. Honorable Thomas Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Thomas Mutinda, representing Wamonyo Ward. Thank you for this opportunity, and let me start by thanking the chairman, the chair and his committee for the good job done. And Mr. Speaker, say that it's a good report, and it will guide us to see what the budgets we have approved in this House are going a long way to helping our people down there. However, Mr. Speaker, I wish to note the following. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the Committee of the Department of Agriculture, you have seen the issue of cattle dips, where, Mr. Speaker, I have heard somewhere where the report says that the cattle dips were not in the CNDP, the County Integrated Development Plan. But, Mr. Speaker, I remember in this House, when a report was put here, I don't remember very clearly whether it's in the Assembly or it was a committee of all House, where the report came that the executive or the Department of Agriculture could not do the repairs of the dips, the cattle dips, because they did not get suppliers or contractors to do the work. So this House is now getting two answers on the same thing, because now in the report, the answer comes that it was not in the CNDP. So there's a conflicting issue there, whether it was the issue of CNDP or it was the issue of contractors. But all the same, like in my ward, I add them in my CNDP of Wamonyo ward. So even if they were not able to do in those other wards or whichever wards, there are wards which their people had requested for the cattle dips. So that's an area where a clearer report should come to this House on the issue of cattle dips. Because remember, we are still fighting on the issue of tick-borne diseases, which are becoming a challenge to our farmers. And we have to empower our farmers by reducing the problems they are facing as they go a long way in doing their day-to-day activities. Mr. Speaker, there's also the issue of the performance of many functions which have been brought, where we have had a performance of 50% on some issues on the ground, and especially in that department. Now, The report did not show clearly where they were performing, like the quarter acre issue, where they were performing the 5%, what was the budget allocated to that program? Because when we are doing about budget, we know there are the functions or the works to be done, the budgets, and the work plans. So you have to match the three, because if we don't match the three, then we will not be getting the clear information. If 5% or 10% was the performance, then what about the budget which remained for 90%? How was it utilized to the benefit of the people of Machakos County? So, Mr. Speaker, that's one department. And also the issue of artificial insemination should come clear, because I've had the extension officers being provided with motorcycles. Those were intended to be used also in the area of artificial insemination, which should be supporting our farmers in upgrading their cows and improving the yield, milk yield for our farmers. So I think a lot has to be done, and I call upon us on the relevant department to dig deeper to see to it that they have clear reports and are present in this house. Mr. Speaker, when you go to the Department of Education, you note that, Mr. Speaker, there is the issue of the ECDs. Current situation, the CNBC, which is now coming in the education sector, requires 2 classes for PP1, PP2. Those are 2 classrooms. Now, in Machakos County, we have over 1,100 schools, thereabouts. So with schools, you are talking of 2,200 ECD classrooms. Current year, we improved because the budget was intended to make 40 classes. We improved to 80 classes so that each ward can get 2. But now, going in that route, if we are making 80 classes per year, how many years do we need to do 2,200 classes? So, and above. So, the same goes even to the teachers, the ECD teachers. How many ECD teachers do we need for those classes? What budget do we need? So, it's the high time we identify our problems and see how we are going to mitigate them. And if we are not able to mitigate them, what other ways can we do about it? Because education is key, and we cannot have the wrong start for our children. So, Mr. Speaker, on the education sector, something must be done. When you go to the health sector, you find the Department of Health. Like in my Wamonyo ward, I have a maternity which was completed with the search funds of the 2019-2020, which is now operational. But the staff quarters for the nurses are not complete. So they have to move from Wamonyo town to the health center, even when the patient comes at night. So there are challenges, and some of the staff quarters were started. And I know it's not Wamonyo alone. There's so many which are of that nature, and completion is crucial so that we have qualitative aspect of treatment in the health sector. So I think it's good. The report is helping us, and a lot has to be done. The sectoral committees should help this assembly and this county government and the people of Machakos County to achieve some goals. The other thing is on the roads, Mr. Speaker. The roads are not good in our areas down there. They are in pathetic situation, and something should be done on the roads. Mr. Speaker, we have the challenges of making, where we have the graders, and maybe the graders have challenges. But all in all, even when the graders are not able to make our roads, our people can make the roads manually, and they make money. So now it's not the high time now. We wait for graders to be repaired. We wait for graders to be repaired. Because the budget is there. Let our people be given the money. The engineers go and start and supervise those programs. And we have enough people to do the work, and the roads will be in good shape. So with those few remarks, as Mr. Speaker, I support and say that it's a good report, and also hope that we have an overview also of the coming year of the 2020-2021, so that we can see the performance. Otherwise, in an entity like this one, when we give budgets, then it should operate as a performance contracting, where you have so much budget, you do so much work, and if there are works which are not done, then the monies can also be seen that you have these balances, and the challenges faced for not doing this could be identified, and resolved. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, is still on the issue of health, where we have level 3s. And I think every ward has a level 3. It's important we have X-rays in those level 3s because of these border people, because accidents are frequent every now and then. And also, the level 4s we have for each sub-county. I think it's important that where the level 4 is situated, then there's a level 3, so that the level 4 becomes a referral. And even in this Machakos sub-county, where we have a level 5, it's important that we have its own level 4, so that the Machakos, the Machakos level 5 becomes a referral for all level 4s. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kyoko. Kalumu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Francis Kyoko Kalumu, representing the people of Kilimani Ward. Let me start by saying that this is one of the comprehensive reports that this assembly has ever received. It gives an overview of several years of implementation of the budget that we pass in this house. However, it has also indicated that some of the projects that are being given here runs from the time when we entered this house, and raising a question from the implementer: what happens to each financial year budget implementation status? Because according to the chair, he has given very clearly what each and every department has done since inception of this second assembly. Mr. Speaker, you look at several departments and you find that, for example, in Department of Roads, you will bear me witness that in our wards, the only budget that has been at work every time we pass a budget is the KRB budget. The other budget that is made, for example, we say we pass 600, for example, 600 something million for rural roads works. You ask yourself, does that money go only on grading? Because what happens, Mr. Speaker, in our wards is only grading. And you find that any road in any ward which is being marramed is only being marramed by money which is coming from KRB. So you ask yourself, Mr. Speaker, where does the 600 and something, according to the latter budget that we have, go? And then you also ask yourself, when we grade roads every time, continuously, year after year, are we not creating gullies? Because we are getting soil from the other side, trying to lump it on the centers to make sure that we have passable roads. But the grading does not sustain the mobility of the road for 5 years. But when it is marramed, it can give the mobility of the road for several years because it has been marramed and impacted well. So I would urge also the concerned department, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that in every department, in every year, although we are in the last year, but I think the government is a going concern to make sure that when they grade a road, they make serious intervention measures to make sure that they have marramed the road so that it can be sustainable. Again, Mr. Speaker, we come to the Department of Agriculture. There is what we call free tractor for cultivating the shambas of our mothers and our people. That program has gone. It is not there again. Although it is being shown here, it happened those years. That is why I'm saying this report has given several years of implementation of budgets, several budgets, not one. Because as in 2019-2020, that is the year we were given the projects which were worth 10 million. And in most of the wards like mine, you will find that the impact of implementation of any tax money was only felt on that certain year. Because, Mr. Speaker, after the implementation of 10 million projects, nothing else had been done. So you ask yourself again, in all those several years of allocation of funds, where does that money go? Like, for example, Mr. Speaker, you will find that in every year we allocate money for water. And that money, borehole drilling, goes for borehole drilling, Mr. Speaker. And you be a witness that when we were being given projects for the wards, every borehole was going for 920 something. You ask yourself, my county has equipment for drilling boreholes. Does that 928 go for that? Again, if you allocate 928,000 for borehole drilling, is it not possible for any other contractor to come and do the borehole? Because the implementation status, the slow uptake of borehole drilling is being derailed by using our equipment. Unlike that, if the 928,000 was given to a contractor, within a period of 1 or 2 months, we could achieve the number of boreholes that we want. But you ask yourself, are there people there sitting in those offices and they don't see that we are not giving people, our people, value for their money, value for their taxes? That is the biggest question, Mr. Speaker. So I would also go to something which we call subsidized fertilizer, which only came once or twice. And then every time we allocate money here, Mr. Speaker, that you hear that we are allocating money for subsidized fertilizer. And if you go to where it used to go, like in Kidimani, we used to go to those cereal stores. And it is not there again. We only bought there subsidized twice. But in the latter budget, we passed a budget for the same. Our people are suffering. We want to make our county food secure. And unless we continue with the same program, we will not achieve what we want. We want our people not to be angry maybe for the next 1 or 3 years. Because once we have sustainable rainfall, and then you subsidize fertilizer, then our people will have enough food for the period between the other rainfall season. Mr. Speaker, I won't take much of time on agriculture, but I will go again to the Department of Education. I've heard several words being mentioned that there are several classes which were done, but most of them were done by those 10 million projects. You ask yourself again, where does the main allocation for the department for the construction of PCDs go? I totally wonder why, Mr. Speaker, they don't implement their budgets in fully. And again, where does the money go, Mr. Speaker? Because in my ward, for example, since inception, the second assembly, when I was elected, we have only done 4 classes, ECD classes. During that year of allocation, we were told there were other 2 classes which were to be done by the department. Unlike the other allocation of any member who requested for ECD classes. So, and if you ask Mr. Chair here for education, he will tell you we have been following for those classes where they are, and when you follow, you're not given clear information what happened to them. So we would also try to follow up on what happens with our budget, because that is the main issue of this county. We pass allocations of money for several departments, but the money is not seen where it goes. Mr. Speaker, there is another issue of ICT, where I belong as chair. I think the investment costed this county a lot of money. Actually, it was a very good idea for the governor to initiate the same program for this county, because it has saved and made, that time it made this county very secure for any investor to come and invest in our county. You remember the other day, money was stolen from Matu Equity Bank. And there is no any information from all the cameras that are in Matu town that were put those other days that we could get from those cameras. So what was the intention? Was the intention just to invest and let it go and not maintain the cameras? Was just it to be seen as if it is a cinema which is being, you be seen, you have good ideas, you invest and you don't follow? What we are requesting, Mr. Speaker, is that any investment that has used public money should maintain and should be made sure that it is sustainable, Mr. Speaker. The issue of tourism and culture, Mr. Speaker, has been taking a lot of money. And if you look at, if you compare the comparison with the budget and the results, you find that you have not been getting any results, any impact. When you evaluate the budget that is allocated to them, you find that there is nothing which we get from tourism and culture. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Kisini.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Robert Kisini, representing the people of the river. Mr. Speaker, I want to start by congratulating the committee for giving us a very elaborate report, which has shown us the way the departments have done previously, and it has really analyzed very well. Mr. Speaker, we have seen from the report that almost all the departments did not achieve the targets, and they are very much far below. The only department which, according to the chairman, which had overdone by 100% is only the Department of Lands, whereby, according to the chairman, they had overissued the title deeds. When we go to the other departments, Mr. Speaker, be it agriculture, whereby even the issuance of chicks, even the dips, the maintenance of dips, and so forth, have not been too satisfactory. It has really performed below the expectation. Mr. Speaker, when we also go to the Department of Energy, you see, Mr. Speaker, it has lacked the power transmission, so power sharings, and that is because of the lack of transformers which have been budgeted for and which you have not got. There are no mulikamwizis, there are no street lights, and that department, and I'm the chairman, has also not performed very well. Mr. Speaker, when we also go to the Department of Agriculture, Department of Sports, and I want to talk of my case, whereby throughout those financial years which have been mentioned, I have a stadium which has been budgeted for the last 2 financial years. And there is nothing which has been done. If we only compare the work which has been done to that stadium, it cannot go 10% of the money allocated. And money has been budgeted and it has not been done. Mr. Speaker, when you also go to education, you see that the allocation we get for the issuance of bursaries is far below, and it does not meet the expectations of the demand of the people whom we are supposed to give bursaries, and also even the ECD classes, and so forth and so forth. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate again the committee for speaking or bringing the report on speaking on the plain truth of the status of each department, and for sharing with us and sharing with the House what is the position of each department as at that financial year of 2019-2020. Not forgetting the World Development Funds and the amounts we were also allocated through the World Development Fund, through all the wards, whereby even those projects which we suggested, like in my case, all the latrines were not done and they stored, and they were not complete. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the departments have operated below what was expected, and there was a budget. Even the roads, as Honorable Kalunga said, it's only the KRP roads, which I've seen. When we go to the other roads, and the program of grading, we only grade, but we don't put marams, Mr. Speaker. Where does the maram go, and it is budgeted for? Even the allowances for the staff is not there. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say thank you for the committee, and finish up by saying they should up their game and do as the budget requires. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Joanna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Johanna Munyao, representing the great people of Mutituni. Mr. Speaker, I want to applaud the Committee on Trade, Economic Planning and Industrialization for the report on Annual Progress Report for 2019-2020. Mr. Speaker, I just want to quote 2 specific areas. One, which I have noted, one on CCTV. Mr. Speaker, we know that CCTVs are supposed to offer 24-hour surveillance. And I was shocked to realize that the department lacked a backup battery or power system which was supposed to support the 24-hour surveillance. To me, that is a very serious anomaly, which I wish was factored in this year's budget, and hope to see it may be implemented in the other report. Mr. Speaker, on tourism, I've also noted that Chamwilu has featured on so many budgets in the name of creation of a mini park, maybe enriching that tourist attraction site so that it can attract more tourists and maybe create some wealth for this county. Mr. Speaker, I was shocked also to see on the same that the issue of land coming up, then one wonders, when budget was being set aside for such works in that area, why was consideration of land not taken on board before even allocating funds to propose to do such works on that area? Mr. Speaker, this site has been used now for several years to allocate budget and nothing is happening. The issue of signages has been done, but to me that is a very low percentage of the works which were proposed to be done on that area. So I still insist that we need to do what is required to be done, especially from the budget which we passed, because Shamilu still featured prominently, so that it does not now become an avenue for allocation of funds which are not seeing the light of the day in terms of how they are being spent on the said project. Mr. Speaker, the Department of, or rather the Committee on Trade, Economic Planning and Industrialization is supposed to receive such reports. And the reports are supposed, among other things, to show measurable key performance indicators. I have noted some inconsistencies in the reporting from the various departments, because I want to believe that we should be able, as we present the progress report, to address the ADP. People can be very busy working on projects and realize that if we are not careful, we have in a way set aside the ADP and we are looking for other works, maybe to justify the spending of the budget. I have seen some departments which have started by giving their intentions. We were intending to do 1, 2, 3. And at the end of the financial year, we were able to do 1, 2, 3. In other committees or in other departments, for example, the Department of Trade, the Department of, of Trade, Industrialization and Innovation, their reporting starts by just mentioning establishment of a jaw crusher and then whatever has been accomplished under that. If you look at the Department of Health and Emergency Services, the department starts by saying it intended to put up an isolation critical care units of these. It intended to do this. In other words, there are departments which are not giving the targets, whereas there are departments which are starting by giving the targets. I expect a uniform report which shows what were the targets for the departments, what was actualized, and generally what was the percentage performance for that department. On the other end, still on the same, the departments should be able to also, as I said, feature among or within the targets was whatever they are implementing, was it within the ADP for that year? And during the implementation, when we say we've been able to perform 40% of our expected performance, what were the challenges I have never seen any department which cited the challenges and possibly the mitigation measures so that we can see the improvement of performance in the subsequent years. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to still request our Department on Trade to insist that a report from each department should capture what was in the ADP. It should also capture what has been actualized. It should capture on the overall what the performance percentage for a particular department, and possibly, as I have given, the challenges and the mitigation measures. Otherwise, it is a very detailed report capturing all departments, and I want to say that if now the report is used to push where we need improvements, I am sure the county is going to prosper in the course of time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Joanna. May the mover of the motion respond, please?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to start by thanking members for actively participating in the motion. And I want to take all the advice given by the honorable members positively, because that will help in improving performance in reporting at every department, or committee. I think all the departments have the chairs and the chairs have noted where we need to improve in reporting. Like we have that omission. Those departments cited the issue about COVID-19 as one of the challenges. Other departments have cited little budget as some of the challenges that they faced. But all in all, they have not given the mitigation measures that they are putting in place. So my request is that all chairs of the committees and the respective clerks have noted that we need to improve. When we interrogating the chief officers, we need to improve in that area. And we also need to link the observations that we are getting from the chief officers on implementation status of the projects. We need those reports to be linked with the ADP and where possible the CIDP, so that we can be able to follow the implementation of the programs. Otherwise, we have some issues. I want to report that the issue about the job crusher under the Department of Trade, at the moment, there are issues that came up concerning the job crusher. There was public outcry, and it is as if that program has been moved from from Katangi to Adriva, to Mlolongo area. So that we need to note that that program was moved from there because of public outcry. It's as if there are issues. The other thing is that, Honorable Speaker, I've noted that proper survey is not being done by the hydrological engineers as far as surveying of the underground water is concerned. And we have ended up with the very dry boreholes, and that has resulted to loss of public funds. And as one of the honorable members has stated, it's good that we can adopt the idea of contracting the drilling of boreholes and even the grading of our roads. When contracted, we can get better services than what we are getting today. More so, like in that area of grading, it is a very big shame because the graders that we are given cannot work for more than 2 hours without breaking down. And a lot of time is wasted in the process. When that grader gets into your ward, it becomes a nightmare because even the staff depend on you for lunch, for transport, for everything. And when the grader breaks down, it is still the honorable member who caters for the repairs of that grader. So I wish to just suggest that that program be contracted so that we can get better services, because we are losing a lot. Thank you. Then we have an issue about implementation, and I've discovered that honorable members handling certain committees, we need to note that money is floated in some departments, so that money can be transferred to other accounts of interest. And the tracking becomes a challenge. So when we're handling the budgets and the budget implementation process, some money is put in your department on transit to another department of interest. And the track of that money gets lost on the way. And then thereafter, you meet the chief officer crying of little budget was allocated, while some money was moved from his department to another department of interest. Lastly, we have the issue about setting targets that are proportional to the set budgets. That is very clear in most of the departments. So these are issues that we need to follow up so that in the future, our dream is to see the budget that we approve as a house being implemented 90%, if not 100%, so that our citizens can get proper services from the county. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, honorable members, for your contributions.
Thank you, Honorable Cosmas Keti. I now put the question that this House discusses and approves the report of Committee on Trade, Economic Planning and Industrialization on the annual progress report for the financial year 2019-2020. As many as other opinions say ayes.
Ayes.
As many as the contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I just want to make one comment before we adjourn, and that is on the report which the chair has just read. A few issues which have been brought up, which I think are of importance. Honorable Thomas Mutinda talked about kettle dips, which have not been done, and which excuses that they have not been put in CIDP. And like he rightfully pointed out, there's a report which was brought here which said nobody responded. People went to tender and the tenderees did not respond. These are some of the issues which are low cost, high value. And I don't understand why the county government cannot prioritize on something like a cattle dip. To repair a cattle dip, in all honesty, cannot take $500,000. To repair a cattle dip cannot take $500,000. But the impact is huge because it will serve hundreds and hundreds of livestock. Hundreds of families will benefit from that. I would therefore request the chair to follow up, the chair of agriculture, to follow up with the with this department to ensure that this money is budgeted for or is included in the next supplementary budget which you are going to do, to ensure that these dips are done immediately before we can even be able to finish our term. I mean, we have come here for 5 years and we have not been able to do something as simple as reinstall dips which were the first items which were identified, among the first items were identified when you got into this assembly. So I don't believe that saying it is not the CIDP is an excuse. CIDP is a living document. It is not cast in stone and can always be reviewed, and items can be included and items can be excluded from it. So I believe that if that is done, that will be good. The other thing is on the issue of artificial insemination, 0%. No artificial insemination was done. If you look keenly at the importance of artificial insemination, the amount of time you spent or our people spent grazing that kienyeji cow for it to come at the end of the day to give 1 liter is the same amount of time they would spend grading an upgraded cow through insemination, which would give them 20 liters or 15 liters. So when you talk about artificial insemination, we are talking about converting the low, the kind of cows we're having today into something which can be able to be beneficial to our people. Because they spend the same amount of time. When a farmer goes to graze a cow, he'll take the whole day grazing that cow. And at the end of the day, that cow is a poor quality cow. So it comes home, it gives them 2 liters. Moja anakunywa, the other one they sell. They would spend exactly the same amount of time on a cow which is giving them 20 liters if it is upgraded. So I think those are some of the things which I have said are low cost. Insemination is a very low cost item. But the impact is very high because we'll be changing our people. Somebody has talked about the youth docket has been ignored, which I agree totally. When we talk about youth sports, the only thing we are hearing are huge studies being put up. When it comes to youth empowerment itself, funding youth to ensure that they can be able to come out with their programs. Who is doing that? There's no money provision which is being put to fund our youth. Even these uniforms you have seen here, there are very few. Do you know how many teams we have in the whole county? And how many have you seen counted here as having benefited from the uniforms? Yet, 70% of our population right now is the youth. So our budget, ideally, should be skewed towards provision of resources for the youth, for them to be able to feel appreciated. And therefore, it is important to ensure that the Department of Youth Sports takes this issue up and ensures that our youth, especially in the area of enhancing them in sports and also financing them, is taken seriously. Sincerely speaking, since I came to this assembly, all the budgets you have had, I have not seen any intention by the county government of enhancing youth activities. It comes as a bypass. Even when you go to the department itself, you find the chief officer does not have money for tea. Yet that is the chief officer who is in charge of youth. I mean, so those are things which need to be taken care of and catered for. Boreholes, subcontract boreholes. There's no way our boring equipment which we have here is going to be able to do the kind of boreholes we want done in the county. Yet the money is there. And remember, when you budget for money for 1 million, there's an honorable member, Honorable Kyoko asked, you budget $1 million for drilling, and you drill using your equipment. And that equipment only uses 500 liters. What happens to the rest of the money? Which had been budgeted for in that caption. So it would be better if we went out and contracted, so that now if you contract, I will have a contractor in my ward, you will have a contractor in your ward, and they'll be doing these boreholes at the same time. When it comes to powering them, they contract. And you see how quickly they do the powering, because it is contracted. The contractor comes in, puts the pump, puts everything, and it gets finished pretty quickly. They just finished powering one in my ward. It took a day. They came in the morning, by evening water was there. So if you contract, the action is done much faster than when we try using our own equipment. Liga, we spent, I saw how many million was spent on the issue of Liga. Yet, when you come to my, Liga surveying and all that, we talked about Liga surveying and those other items. When you come to my ward, you go to a place called Ivumbune. You find the primary school is where I am, here, and there's a bar at the gate. So, and it has been licensed. And you tell me if you have spent 26 million or 0 million in the process of ensuring that you are doing survey to ensure that legal facilities adhere to the set rules. There should be no legal facility near a school, anywhere near 400 meters from a school. So if you have a legal facility 20 meters from the gate of a school, then you see such money has been spent, and this is not far. It is Ivumbuni is 5 kilometers from here. It puts to question what that money has been done, and challenges our committees to ensure that they go and see to it that these specific people are doing what they're supposed to do. I have reported that issue of Ivumbuni and say that that license should be withdrawn. I have gone all the way to the respective department, but up to today, I still see that person trading in Liga right outside the school. Those things need to be changed, and I believe we can be able to do it. With that, honorable members, the House is adjourned to resume again on Tuesday, the 10th day of August, 2021 at 2:30 p.m. Thank you, honorable members.